This is Rebecca Agbatson. I chose vaccination blog, and vaccination has been a problem for a while because it's been good and it's also been bad. And people believe that vaccination, like people who get vaccination, have lead to a good, better health. And some people believe that with vaccination leads to like damage for the health problem. And according to this article that I read, it's called it's called Vaccination Best Practice by Taylor. This was the author, and it was published in 2018. It defined vaccination as the administration of antigen material to stimulate an individual immune system to develop adaptive immunity to a pathogen. So, also the history of vaccination was by Jenna Edward. Edward discovered vaccination through a 13 years old boy, which the boy had a cowpox, and Edna was the father of vaccination. So he discovered the vaccination through this boy. So why is it complicated? Vaccination is being complicated because some people has a weakened immune system, and which make people fear that it makes which make people get fear that vaccination cause some damages. And which people also believe that with vaccination you're free from disease or free from germs. And people also think that without vaccination um in the future the person might end up having a stroke. People have different kind of knowledge about this vaccination of a thing. So this has been a complicated issues in the society. So I read this article. It's called Parent Opinion of Children and Teenager Vaccination in Lower Silesia. And this is a case study that, that happened during this time. And it was, this study was in March 2016. And this study was about parents and the knowledge of parents about vaccination. And when this parent was interviewed, he says that a child got vaccination, and which lead to the child being it's lead to abnormal stuff. So other article that I also read, it says that vaccination has led to a better health. But who are the organization working to solve this problem? And Vaccine Safety Data Link and Center for Disease Control, Vaccine Adverse Events. These are the people, these are the organization trying to who are trying to face this problem. And what is happening to face this problem? I think with education, by educating our parents about the goodness of vaccination, that it's not causing any damage to our health. I think with this it can lead to a better knowledge. Also, people also complain that with because of the because of financial issue, that they can afford to to they can afford to pay for the vaccination. So that's why they're refusing it. So with this education that that can be given, so it can actually goes a long way to to help people in the society. So according to the to this article, again, it was a case study that happened in Africa. And it was a case study, and it's also like something similar to what I know back in Africa. During those time, it was the issue of chicken pox. And back then, people who get vaccinated, people who get vaccinated are free from having chicken pox. And people who doesn't get vaccination end up being having various kind of infection. Yeah, and during my research, I was able to interview some healthcare workers. So let's hear what they're able to say about this vaccination issue. These people not getting vaccinated.
I think there are a lot of reasons. I think some are that they feel like it's a government plot. I think there's a lot of misinformation that has been generated over the years, starting primarily with Andrew Wakefield when he published a paper about vaccines, or MMR specifically, causing autism. And I think that kind of led us into this hole of everybody's worried about vaccines now. Plus, vaccines are a victim of their own success because you don't see that many vaccine preventable diseases in the U.S.
So how is this a problem to the people who are not vaccinated?
So it is a problem for. So you do have some legitimate cases where kids cannot be vaccinated for whatever reason, for their health, reasons, and whatever those health conditions are. And then you got parents that choose not to vaccinate their kids for whatever reason their choices are. And what happens is that it puts those kids that cannot be vaccinated at a higher risk of getting those vaccine preventable diseases. If you look at some of the diseases, I mean, you'll see that the medical cost of treating those diseases is way higher than the vaccine itself. So it's costing our healthcare system a large amount of money to treat those vaccine preventable diseases.
I'm an LPN at 12 Health Services. When being asked about vaccinations and the problems with people not wanting to get them, we have found out that a lot of times people feel as though their children may develop other health issues related to vaccines, mainly autism, some delayed learning issues, and health issues. And we try to convince them that a lot of the vaccines that they are worried about are relatively safe, and it keeps the patient from getting communicable diseases like measles, mumps, which has happened, and also whooping cough, which is another health issue that is also spreadable to the community.
The ethics of vaccination are really pretty straightforward. The reason that public health types get all excited about vaccines and vaccination campaigns is about protecting populations instead of just individuals. The diseases that we use vaccines against are actually relatively serious. Even things like chickenpox can cause complications that can last a person's entire life. But our real aim is to protect people who are especially vulnerable, who have not encountered the diseases previously, and who perhaps cannot be vaccinated because of their age, or because they are immunocompromised, or because they're allergic to a vaccination component. For these people, it's especially important that we get enough of the population immune that if the disease comes to the community, it has a tough time establishing a foothold and is not easily spread from individual to individual. When that happens, we have what's called herd immunity, and it makes it so the immune status of a population can help to protect vulnerable individuals who in fact are not immune. What this means, for example, is let's talk whooping cough or pertussis. If we have school-age children and adults protected against pertussis through vaccinations, it means that we're also protecting newborn babies who can't be vaccinated because of their age. And pertussis, in adults, for us it looks like a crummy cold. In newborn babies it can be fatal. What other questions do you have?
So do you think we can we convince people to get vaccination?
Yes, I definitely think that we can. And sometimes what it takes is a sympathetic ear. It really does. I have a true confession, high class. Way back when my kids, I have twins, they are now 11 years old, way back when my twins were infants, even I, with my background and graduate degree in epidemiology, even I was a little bit apprehensive about getting their shots. And part of it was that a lot of my parenting buddies on the internet were against it. They wanted modified schedules for their kids. They thought it was too much stuff going on with their immune systems at once. And I talked to my pediatrician about this, and she said, and I quote, "Oh, come on, Renee." And she was right. And she was more sympathetic than that. I made it sound harsher than it was. But my kids did get vaccinated on the regular schedule, and they're okay. I think that telling people the facts about vaccination, letting people know that the harms that they might have heard of are not true. The biggest harm that you're going to get from vaccinations, the vast majority of the time, is a sore arm and maybe a grumpy kid for an hour or two.
Thank you.